Good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on what region you are from. Welcome to another day of Counter-Strike here at ECS season number 5. All the digits I have on just the one hand. Welcome to the show. Dan is here.
Yeah.
He's got his knees out again. You getting more comfortable with those?
Yeah. Look, I'm matching really well today. Look at this, James. Look at the blue. Look at the blue.
The white.
Blue,
yeah.
blue.
Nice, nice. I'm matching as
Blue.
well. Look, look, look. I've got the... I don't even know what you call this, but like it matches my polo, I would say.
Like a noise? It's like a...
Yeah, it's like a radio. There
Static.
You go.
like a radio.
Yeah, that's
like
what they have
a
to do.
static thing going on.
That's what they have to do with Gray.
Nice.
Yeah.
And he's...
I've got a
It's just, it's gone for the classic.
ready to rob a petrol station.
Yeah.
Street Fighter socks.
Nice.
All right.
Blanca.
Nice.
Blanca.
Where'd you get those from?
Across the street, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I'll show you.
Please do.
Okay.
Any more nerdy stuff? I don't have any nerdy stuff.
You don't need more nerdy stuff. No, you need to move away from that, Dan.
Oh.
That's what we're trying to do.
I
That's what we've been trying to
pretty
do this for
trendy right now,
years.
James.
I know. Just keep it going in that direction. Just leave the nerddom behind. ECS, we have 4 games of European Counter-Strike coming up for you. Faze versus Gambit first up on Mirage and Nuke, and then Gambit will continue with 2 more matches versus a Godsend, which continue to go from strength to strength and look continually more dangerous. And upward, what do you call that phrase? Upwards
Trajectory?
trajectory, yes, marvelous stuff, Launders. I have taken an antihistamine, and it's supposed to be non-drowsy, and I really hope it is, because otherwise I'm going to fall asleep, because that stuff hits me like a ton of bricks, man.
You just get drowsy anyway, right? Sometimes, like you don't sleep very much.
That's also true.
So,
I struggle
can you tell?
to sleep all the time. I couldn't sleep last night because I was going in on CS, right? After every show, I've been playing Counter-Strike, and yesterday I was in a lot of pain, man. Like normally my RSI is like here, but it was even up here a little bit. It was hurting a lot, so I couldn't sleep because I just had like I think it was inflammation. My arm was pulsating, so I think I have to take a few days off the Counter-Strike. So if you are in the Mythic League or the Dust 2 US League, you're not going to get bodied for a few days. So at least there is that.
I need to try the arm on desk, James. Because you can stay as wrist, but it just sort of just shifts the weight and the pressure a bit.
Yeah, I do need to try that. But I just feel like, you know, after playing like, I don't know, 15 years or something, CS, it's really... I think it was last year. It was last year or the year before. I took like 6 months of figuring out what mouse I wanted to use, what mouse pad I wanted to use, what sensitivity I wanted to use. And it took me twice. I changed my sensitivity, and it took me 72 days exactly because I checked it to like get used to the new sensitivity. And I really don't want to like have a setback. Although
the beauty of this, though,
it's a better setback than having. You know,
sorry to interrupt you.
Go on.
Just the beauty of it is that you'll still be doing exactly the same stuff. You're just this already be in a different position. It will feel weird, but it won't, because you're a wrist player, so it won't affect this. It's just like you just alleviate the tension a bit on the arm.
So when I was before, one of the reasons I like smaller keyboards like this is because I used to play on a laptop for the longest time. So I'd have my hand on a laptop keyboard, and then my mouse would be here. So when I have a full-size keyboard, my arm is suddenly over there. But also the reason I was a wrist player is because I played on a bureau. If you don't know what a bureau is, if you think of like old furniture where you have the thing that comes out like that, that's what I used to play on. So I had a very limited amount of space to put the mouse pad on, because then there's like a big gap in the table where it folds up. So that was just not a thing for me, which is why I'm a wrist player. So I'm just used to it. But
so that's the same for me. I had the same sort of desk.
Yeah.
And so I was like this for a very long time.
Is it RSI if your hands hurt? Only your hands? Like if I KZ for like 3 or 4 hours, all my fingers, all my bones will start aching.
No.
I think you should do some press-ups.
Press-ups?
I mean, maybe you just need stronger like muscles.
Stronger muscles?
But like,
I don't know.
Like you're saying your hand. Because
you're talking
it's
bone?
the tendons up here for like all the tendons and ligaments and all that.
KZ, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the only time.
How do you... Are you a claw... You're a clawer?
Yeah.
Is it
like
claw or palm?
Claw.
Grip?
Well, I'm like a hybrid of claw and palm.
I think I'm halfway in between as well. But now...
So my hands are too big for like mice normally. Like just a palm, a mouse straight up. So I kind of try to do both, because I don't really like claw that much either.
I moved to a smaller mouse. Like the same. There's some mice have a bigger and a smaller version, and I moved back down to the smaller version. So I'm more of a claw player now, but for like AWPing and moving around quickly, it helps.
I think you get more control with claw, so it's usually better to have some kind of claw influence in your grip.
Yeah.
there are some tricks here. I want to make. I'm gonna, because we have all these cameras here. I'm gonna make actually, like, we have some cool mouse pads coming in actually. So I think I'm gonna record some stuff, because I found out, so I experimented some stuff, and I don't know anyone who's tried the same things as I do. But there's ways to switch between different techniques, so you get the both of best worlds. Just takes some practice to get used to it.
In terms of grip, you mean?
In terms of grip, like switching your grip on the fly. Because I'm a claw player, but there's advantages from like a tracking perspective to be able, like, tracking when you're on a palm is like easier, because if you go full palm, then you're basically using more of the actual arm, and so you get more consistency, and you don't have like the limitation. Because if you're a wrist player, after a certain amount of degrees when you're turning, you start to, like, your hand can't turn as much, so you lose some of the like you get some tension, so it actually limits your ability to track. So if a player goes to so far to the right, to the left, you start to lose them. But if you're free, then it's fine. Like, tracking is much easier. But for the precision stuff, the claw is really good, because you get, as you say, like, it's much more precise on the smaller movements within that range of comfortable sort of degrees, let's say. And depending on your sensitivity, it might be 90, it might be 30, depending on your sensitivity. So there's definitely advantages if you want to be really sneaky about it, to like actually create like a system for that. So, and I did that in Quake, and it worked really well for me. So
I would like to watch this video.
yeah. So something to think about. There's not enough videos about mouse mechanics and mouse control and the setup and stuff. I think there's a lot of like logical conclusions for everyone there. And,
yeah. We're gonna start doing more YouTube stuff soon.
It's really not in the rhetoric of CS players.
Yeah.
Like, they talk about aim a little bit, but there's so much other stuff going on that it's not the more of the focus. But I feel like Quake players, or at least everything I've heard from Quake players, is, you know, different ways to think about acceleration, grips, and all of those things. All those videos are from like Quake players.
There's like these, like, in the CS scene, like, you guys are talking about like these Japanese mouse pads and stuff like that. That was Quake players are going nuts for that stuff 2-3 years ago. They started. It's like, I feel like they're always like a bit further on that. But on Quake, you're just doing a bit more of everything. I think in CS sometimes like you need really good tracking, but you can get away if you're just really good from like a precision perspective. Like, if you look at some of the professional players, like who can I think of here, who is like very flicky, generally speaking,
in
like
CS?
really fast sense. Yeah, like there's some players that just have like really good raw aim, but I feel like if you're a player that's like not super talented in aim, but you just know all the best practices for the different techniques, even if you're not super talented, you can have like a really consistent.
So slash the things you don't even have to have
I
good
still
aim.
have pains in my arm, man. I'm trying to just like stretch it out like this, because it's just annoying me. So I might just be like that. I don't know. Sorry. This is a problem. I can't play CS for a while.
I'll join you.
I'm sad. I'm really sad.
I'm sad for you. That
I
sucks.
have 20 subscribers now on my stream.
Nice.
Nice.
It's cool, man.
Blown up.
For me, it's like, that's really cool. You know, it's funny. I'd get like a day where I'd get like 4 subscribers. I'm like, oh my god, man, I got 4 subscribers like today. It was cool. You know, it's just kind of,
Yeah.
it doesn't need to be a million, but it's for me, because don't normally get to stream so much. It's kind of novel for me. So
now you got to stream all the time.
well, if I could stream and play at the same time, then I will, unless I'm tired. You know, if it's like one game at lunch. Sorry, this hay fever thing is making me cough as well, so I have to like, yeah. So if I'm playing for like 3 hours, I'll stream, because we FACEIT got some computers here, so I can actually do that. But if I was playing on my laptop, it was not strong enough to do both, so I would just play. But yeah. But now I need to. I had an issue where if I played for like 8 hours, like 8 hours is normally my window where I would start to get the RSI issues. But because I've been playing consecutively day after day after day after day after day, it's kind of built up. So I just need to like maybe 2 or 3 days of just relaxing. So maybe I won't play till next week.
Like, do you guys find that, like, so you said like playing for 8 hours? Because I'm wondering, like, when I was younger, I would play for like insane amounts of time, like 12+ hours easy all the time.
Yeah, you got nothing to do.
Exactly, yeah. But now I feel like I can play for less time, but I'm not sure if it's because I get a bit like more bored more easily, or if it's the fact that like, there's a difference in focus. Because now I'm really attuned to the fact that I know that I have like 4 or 5 hours of like really good focus, and then my performance will drop off because I just can't focus as well.
I feel like my focus reaction time, none of that stuff's changed. It's just how much I want to play. I started playing Fortnite, which is it's a new game, right? So it's a honeymoon phase of the game. Played for like 10 days, but I really like it a lot. So I played for like 10, 12 hours straight, like don't eat, like just game. You know what
No
I mean?
eats.
You're such a nerd.
I can't do that with Counter-Strike because I've already played 7,000 hours. If I'm only going to play pugs, I've already done that. And I played on a team, so going from a team to playing on pugs is like it's not very interesting.
Not rewarding.
It can't, it's the same maps. It's 7,000 hours. I love watching the game almost more than playing it now, which is totally fine. But if it's a new game, then yeah, I can experience that every time I play like a new game I really like. I just play it like I was a kid, basically.
For me, I just play CS. Like I don't play games. I play Counter-Strike.
That's how I was for like until I was at like 6,000 hours. Until I was on a team. Until I stopped playing on a team, I only played Counter-Strike, no other games. Every time I played another game, I was like, I could just be getting better at Counter-Strike right now.
Yeah.
But now I don't have a goal in Counter-Strike, so.
Yeah. Well, my journey is always on a journey of self-improvement, which is why I like watch demos and put those videos out. But someone actually asked me if I preferred commentating the game over playing the game, but I'll always prefer playing the game.
That's what we're all here for, so
Like
because we love playing the game.
yeah, and for me, like watching the game obviously is highly valuable, but a lot of, well, not a lot of, but part of the reason I watch, like when I'm not working, is because I want to learn from what I'm seeing to apply it to make me a better player. So everything is around going back to playing the game. So playing the game will always be number one to me until my arm falls off. Then I won't be able to play the game anymore.
Yeah.
I'm at like a mix. Like I love playing and always will, but at the same time, like after, because that's like again like why we started doing all of this. But then after the time, I started to like learn how nuanced commentary is as well, and like how much of a different way of experiencing the game that is.
Mm-hmm.
So I could never like that if I ever stop doing that, I'm always gonna miss it because it's like nothing like it, and it's in of itself is like such a rewarding discipline because it's just like I always find that there's like a new ceiling, like there's like much more that you can do than I first thought.
Yeah.
Because it's unlike sports commentators, we have a lot more. There's so many more things that we can do.
On that note, by the way, there's a small delay in the beginning of this match for a technical issue, which is fine because we're awesome. So I retweeted. There's a wrestling commentator who also does boxing. His name is Mauro Ranallo. He is really awesome commentator, and he's quite inspiring as well because some of the lines. Because like I think I probably have most in common with like pro wrestling commentators, the way that I commentate, but he is an inspiration of mine. I just think he's awesome and over the top and crazy as pro wrestling is. But WWE recently they put like a GoPro on his desk, and they just clipped all his reactions throughout the matches from NXT Takeover last weekend before WrestleMania, and it's really cool. And also funny because at the very end, a wrestler gets thrown over his table while he's commentating, which is hilarious. But like, I would recommend watching it. It's about 10 minutes long, but it's really funny, and you can see how much energy he exudes. But it's cool because he's got like the kind of like old school kind of 90s, 80s leather big office chair, but it's pretty far back like this, which is cool because when he's like really going crazy, he leans back, and it's almost funny because it's almost like standing up in that respect because he's kind of giving space for his diaphragm to really go for it at the same time, which I found kind of amusing. I'm struggling to say that.
What do you think?
It's really interesting that, or what were we gonna say?
I was just gonna ask James, like, what do you think's like are the biggest crossovers from pro wrestling? Because as you say, like, I think forever that's just been your inspiration for like a commentary perspective, which is very different to anyone else in Counter-Strike.
Yeah, well, I think that we have almost. I think in some ways, if you look at wrestling, they have space to. They have like downtime, if you will. They have space. Like if a big action happens, then there's a lot of space afterwards to like build the character of the people playing the game and so on, because everyone's on the floor, like flopping around, right. So you've got lots of space to do stuff, and like towards the end of a round, for example, you have the similar space to do that because the obviously the people like on the server or the wrestlers are telling a story, but then it's the commentator's job to tell that story as well, and also build up the character of the people playing the game and make stars out of them. So partly it's what they do on the server, but partly it's down to the commentator to do that as well. So in other sports, you might not necessarily, like if you look at fighting games, they don't really have the time to do that during a match because it's just constant nonsense going on. So that's a very different kettle of fish. But I think there's a lot of similarities there where you have the space to just say some wild stuff due to the nature of the game.
Sorry, Londos, you got denied. Got a bit denied
Oh,
there.
no worries.
Game started. Faze, Gambit. Faze on T side, and obviously Exist standing in front of Meister still. Hopefully, Oliver is having a good recovery. Is it injury?
We don't know.
We don't know.
Private.
He just said it was
Okay.
a personal issue and he wants to keep it
Well,
personal.
whatever it is, if it's negative,
Me
then
and Shocks, we're the injured ones. We're on the
hopefully
hospital beds.
you should commentate with Shocks. Injured commentary crew.
Oh God, you know, I'm so happy that he's commentating that event in France, because I said to these guys off camera, like, if you look at the top esports in various countries, I think France is like the only European country where CS is not the top one. And I have some friends who say that the French commentary sucks. So hopefully Shocks will bring a lot more viewers to that. So more power to him for staying, you know, doing something for the community while he's out of action.
Which surgery did he have?
There's something on
Wrist?
his wrist.
Oh, is it like carpal tunnel surgery or something?
Don't know.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Oh, I think he had a cyst.
I don't think you'd have that
Oh,
on your
okay.
wrist. Carpal tunnel. It's your arm.
So,
Bombs. Where's Bombs
well, the
going?
bomb is just chilling there by itself. Nico will make his way across.
Have you ever had a cyst on your back? Excuse me. There's this thing, right, called a sebaceous cyst, where you just don't have enough oxygen coming to your skin. And I had this giant bump on my back and it was a sebaceous cyst, but then it just went down and disappeared.
Well,
FYI.
It's like Faze will just be able to walk in and hit the headshots on the A-bomb site. Pretty easy after holding for a potential push from Gambit. Which is cool to do that after sort of showing presence and then making it a bit obscured where they were going. Cutting the noise, seeing if Gambit would try to get the information. They didn't, they just held passively, which is fine. And Faze like, alright, we'll just run into A, see what happens, and they hit the headshots. So simple as that.
I wonder if you can hold the stairs player down, whoever's USPing, by putting pressure from Palace safely. If you just throw a jungle smoke and on a pistol round, send one person Palace to like peek that guy's stairs but not commit too hard. I wonder if that's what the idea was there. Because if you can only throw one smoke on the right side, you can actually, there's a lot more plants that you can use that are pretty cool.
See what Mo can do with this scout. I'll be honest with you, I'm struggling to breathe properly right now. But I'll do my best. I have to go and grab my asthma pump in a second. 1 minute 10 on the clock. 3 of the Faze players in mid. Looks like it will be a simple split of the A side. Sees though, make it somewhat more difficult, but he can't get around the corner. The tagging slowing him down. Mo in the CT position. And the site's been taken, so let's see what Gambit choose to do. 3 players remaining. Not really the most ideal situation for them. Do they continue to push or save for the next round? You don't see it as much on Mirage, but that certainly will change things. Carrigan getting taken out in Connector. Oh, what is going on? Trying to reposition Rain, choosing speed over having his gun out, and he gets taken out for free. All of a sudden, this 4 versus 3 is 2 versus 3. And you do wonder, if Gambit can get the trades in, then, I mean, this is not going well. Guardian's pretty low. Will they line up for it? There's a trade. Dozy with an AK-47. And now Nico and Palace.
Ooh.
Oh, it's not planted for Nico, although another 4 seconds. Surely Mo can't get it done. What an expensive round for FaZe. That was somewhat of a calamity, I think.
Dozier did such an amazing play there. Because it's like, you know your teammate is super exposed, but you know you can't peek because you'll die immediately. And there's maybe like a 1% chance you win that fight somehow as Dozier's position. But he just holds, gambling that the threat of the peak is going to be much bigger than him actually peeking. So the threat is bigger than the action, is what we used to say. I just checked, by the way, James. It is indeed in the hand that surgery would be for carpal tunnel, because it's like the medial nerve or media, something like that.
Oh, I thought it would be focused on the inflammation in the forearm.
It's a bit different because it's from what I understand, the RSI is all the inflammation there, and then what happens is from a consistent, like if you have consistent inflammation there over time, then what happens is it develops into carpal tunnel, which is like that tunnel, like the medial nerve gets inflamed and then it can't, like, stuff can't go through properly or something like that. And that's like actually there. And it's caused by the inflammation, but the actual problem for carpal tunnel is actually in the hands. But something like that. I can show you the picture if you want. But it's,
No, I'll pass.
it's a diagram, but it's still not very pleasant.
Fair enough. I stand corrected.
Yeah. That's why if you do get RSI symptoms, like, treat it pretty seriously, ladies and gents.
Well then,
Read a book.
Guardian will give C some time to read a book with that opening frag. Even I'm not that aggressive.
What is that? Oh, he had no helmet, right? Okay. I swear that the Mac 10 is not as good.
It's amazing.
As it looks.
No, Mac 10 is really good. I don't
It's
know
not as good when I use it.
What's that?
It's not as good when I use it.
Oh, it's fantastic. I love the Mac 10.
Is it because, like, a lot of us has this conception that, like, with the Mac 10, it's like, oh, you just spray, but it's like the MP9. If you actually do aim for the head and try to burst on the head, like it's almost a rifle, it seems like that is how you use it. Like, and you want to be really precise instead of being kind of sloppy. Which I feel like when I use the SMG, I kind of feel naturally, oh, just spray. And eventually, you know, I'm not gonna think, oh, you know, I don't naturally think, oh, I'm going to be able to hit headshots with this, if you know what I mean, unless I'm really close range.
Oh, I'm always going for the headshots, whether or not it makes sense.
Head and neck for me with the Mac 10. But, like, if it's Inferno, for example, I keep saying like and you know all the time, which is really annoying me.
Yeah,
I am conscious of it. But I like to, if you're on the C side, obviously, for Mac 10, I think you have some good opportunities if you're clearing Blana and so on to maim people first with grenades if they choose to be sandbags or behind a half wall. Then it makes the job a lot easier. So map dependent. For me, map dependent. I have different efficacy with the Mac 10. Cobblestone seems to be a nightmare for me with the Mac 10. So perhaps I'll go MP7 in future.
Okay, well, if he comes out for C's, it's a good first frag actually. You can work the position around. Still 6 bullets. He sets the situation for the second kill. That's actually it's hard to sometimes get a chance at more than one frag there. C's had it, but only one frag will happen. Faze right now, I kind of like it because I really like it when you have a team which they're very good, and it's not necessarily like a disrespect, but it's like, I'm going to show you a fast pace and I'm going to put it to you guys whether or not you can stop that or not. And if you can't, then we're dominating you, because the nature of the rounds is very dominating if it works. And so far, FaZe are playing fast. They're hitting fast headshots. They're not giving Gambit very much time to react. Like the first buy round, we saw Guardian just walk into a deep angle on the B apps and just get a shot and get into the B site like straight away. That's like, that is very fast. So I love that kind of play style from a team like FaZe. It's so overwhelming.
I think it's very hard to deal with, and I think that they put a ton of pressure on them by winning a round like that to think about, all right, what's going to happen next? Like, what's coming now that it's 5-0 and they won their bonus round with the Mac 10s.
Hello.
Oh no.
Guardian off to a good start once again. This is proving difficult for Gambit. FaZe trying to catch up with the delay to the start of this game. What is the response from Gambit? They'll hear the flash and Dozier simply walking into a duel. Nico looking up, easily dragged down. If you are on A ramp, it's nice to hold a tight angle on the stairs position and wait for a peek, depending on who you're playing. Especially with an AWP, can be a nice free kill.
This is really scary. Hobbit's in a really dangerous position. He'll get a frag, but now, I mean, they don't have any smokes or remaining or Molotovs to pressure the Palace position, but it's just the likelihood of them winning the round from Hobbit is just so low. He's just got to get out of there, and he's being chased. Oh! I'm surprised he felt like he could get away there, actually, without that sort of thing happening.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was like, all right, I'm going to take this shot. Since he's not there, I've just got to go. I mean, I feel like, I think he thought they're going to come after him one way or another.
Yeah, they're definitely rushing him down, like no matter what they're... Oh well. They shall survive with at least one gun, you would think. Maybe ECS is at risk, but that's about it. Ooh, so close. Oh,
he got him.
Ow!
Oh,
how did that happen? My God.
That's unfortunate. FaZe's results have been kind of all over the place recently. I think they got the 2 overs Fnatic. which was pretty big. They also dropped the map versus Envy. They like went 1-1 versus Envy.
Yeah.
So
Nice pick from Guardian. He's definitely warm today. He warm. That's actually like another that's another thing as well. Like creating. I just said like.
You said what?
I just said like for no reason as well.
I'll put it in your head.
No, because yeah, well, I was already doing it and I felt the same way as you. I sort of had that moment after I say it. A few words in, I'm like, oh god damn it. Now I just sound.
Yeah,
like
for those of you at home, right, we have this weird thing where if one person realizes they're doing something repetitive, they'll mention it to the other person, and then it's in the other person's head and they start doing it. But also if we're watching like another broadcast and we notice that someone else is doing something repetitive, then it's like in our mind and then we'll start doing it as well, which is really bizarre the way that works. But that's one of the...
you guys are a couple of sponges.
Yeah, but it's good that we kind of notice it in each other as well, so we try to nag each other about it to get rid of it.
Those are called hitch words for
Yeah.
people who don't know.
Hitch words.
Yeah.
We say crutch.
Crutch, yeah.
It's crutch words. It's just like filling a gap.
It's cool. It's cool. Like, and if you are sort of an aspiring commentator listening, like just generally thinking about eliminating redundancy is quite good, because there's lots of spots where. Like, I'll call them filler words, where you're sort of one of my filler words from the past that I used the most was here, and there's loads of spots where I would say it, but it doesn't need to be said, and to just leave a gap in the airspace is actually going to sound just generally better. So I don't know what point I was going to make before, but when I stopped myself, but I will go back into the game now as Nika gets an opening towards Pit. And that is pretty damn good. I mean, the pace is really fast here. Faze, after smashing the mid defense consistently, are pushing it hard now, knowing that it's being voided by Gambit, and Gambit aren't able to survive.
I like this because it's Faze is saying, give us a reason not to keep doing this.
Yeah.
That's just it.
Yeah, give us a reason not to do this.
It's on you.
Right now, Gambit can't, so they'll keep doing it.
See ya.
How's that a headshot?
That's true, actually. Yeah.
It's a clean headshot. I don't understand.
The best with those, I always wonder, is like when people are below, like directly, like Pop Dog. Like you'll see the fight with the CTs directly below, underneath. They have to shoot
And then
through.
get the headshot.
Shoot their feet, and they get headshots. I don't understand. Well, I guess it actually does make sense, because they're kind of like wall banging the player's feet into their head or something. But then why does it register? I don't understand. Does that make sense?
No, you know, I always wonder. You know, one thing I seriously wonder, right, is like if you're against an AWPer, if you're crouching, you're just like one big square of meat if you think about it, right?
Okay, yeah.
So, like in terms of hitboxes, what is like if you're crouching versus an AWPer and they shoot you? I guess we could look at the models to see like if your legs, how much are your legs exposed versus your body, you know?
Right, I see what you're saying. Like how much the difference between the leg and the.
Yeah, there must be a percentage of what's exposed, what percentage is body, what percentage is below the waist.
It would be really cool in the sense that it would be harder to get the kill, because like there's more of the leg hitbox in that sense, like maybe 70%, 30%, because my god. So we just talked over the.
That's fine.
Success.
It's 1 to 8. It's not hard. It's hardly, you know.
It's hardly hype.
It's not much point.
But I could understand from like a balance perspective why it would be cool, because the crouching player is generally going to be in a spot where their movement, their mobility kind of sucks. So you're more committed to whatever you're doing. So I feel like that's a good way to sort of balance it out. If that's how Valve would think about it, I don't know. But it's actually like a discussion I want to have is about understanding sort of how to quantify just generally everything in the game, so you can sort of start to think in that way. Like, what are the trade-offs for certain things, certain positions? What is valuable in the game? Sometimes it's cool to get inside of the game dev's head a little bit once you start to really put the pieces together of what everything's worth in a game of Counter-Strike. What gives advantages? What gives disadvantages? How do you quantify these things? It's a good discussion to have at some point. Nico, take down. Man, they're getting the opening so very quickly and easily. Look at this. Rain, it's not the first time Rain has just run into connector.
Oh man.
And Nico is just continuing, just running out of the Palace position.
This is pretty awesome.
One thing I've noticed, and I think this is the point I was going to bring up earlier, is the fact that Guardian has been smashing mid so hard that, and just generally Faze's mid takes me so strong. And they've also been working the peripheral so much, it seems like Gambit are afraid to challenge mid. And so now in the last few gun rounds, we've seen Rain take super fast timings, Karrigan as well, into connector, which is kind of like the strong thing to do because the CTs have very little warning because they're so scared to take mid presence. What is Learn your angles through the smoke skies. He's
probably looking at his radar.
Do you guys have reference points for those common spots when the smoke's up?
Yeah. I think a lot of it's muscle memory too. People don't really trust themselves. Like, everyone knows all the angles. And I think if you just want to shoot, you'll readjust. Like, you know the angle.
Kenyes is a good player, especially on Mirage Palace, to watch. Not necessarily for smokes, but like when he takes the angle from Palace to jungle, he's on point immediately. Whereas a lot of people, like watching at home, me included, will just be like, just move into the angle, oh look, where should I put my crosshair kind of thing. But he's prepared for it in advance. So watch some Kenny demos if you want to see how he does that.
Ooh, oh, that was a double. Rain got tagged actually through Karrigan. And interesting mix-up from Faze. They opt to go for the set piece. They're unable to get out there with the grenades. Good defense from the double orbs. Although I say that, Nico and Guardian are still alive, so... And they are absolutely feeling themselves so far in this game. So they can definitely do this, Nico, in the 1v3. Oh, Dozier! It's going to make himself known in this map.
Almost 4 there.
So, Launders, we get this spot where Faze, you know, they defy the if it ain't broke, don't fix it mentality, and they decide to go for a slow set piece. No presence on the map. They wait a good, like, 30 seconds, then throw the nades in and try to execute. And is this... I think these are two different schools of thought, and I don't think there's a consensus, but where do you lean?
I think they're just kind of out of ideas. Like, hey, what do? We just won all these rounds. Like, we can get away with anything. What do they think we're going to do?
What do we do? We just win these rounds.
Maybe they just try heavy mid this round. Let's just go for a fillet, you know, like 20-second execute. I swear it's probably just a change-up, just because they can pretty much do anything right now.
They can do anything. Also, welcome back to Paused, our replay operator. He was, I don't know, went to Vegas for some reason for a couple of days. Now he's back. His business has been done. So he can enjoy his replays once again.
I wonder if for Exist this is like your uncle taking you to Wonderland or something.
Is that so?
I wonder if for Exist this is like your uncle just taking you on a vacation.
Take you to Disneyland?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like the all expenses paid sort of like vacation to Hawaii. It's definitely a nice little vacation after being on the NIP struggle bus for some time. The thing with Exist as well is that on NIP, like I always felt like Exist was a very good rifler, very good player. But I never liked him as an in-game leader, and I felt like the spots when we saw him not IGLing, like when we saw Threat take over straight away as the coach before the coaching rule came in, and honestly, that it's really quite sad we didn't get to see another like 6-8 months of what that looks like with you know, Threat actually calling, because his calling is very good. But Exist, when Threat was doing that, was so much better as a player because he didn't have to think about that stuff. And so I never liked him as an in-game leader as much, but always liked him as a rifler, as a fragger. And I feel like I would like to see him in that, like eventually find a team if this is not a permanent switch, where he gets to be that more of that kind of a role and doesn't have to worry about the leadership. Maybe it can be like a secondary caller, something like that. But I would love to see that in his career. This is a fast game. No, this is pretty fast.
It's among the fastest.
It's nice. It's very nice.
It's exciting too. Nice shots are being hit.
You know what, actually? So this is another thing. So one of the beauties of Counter-Strike and having a metagame in general, which is metagame is really an awesome thing that happens in all things competitive. And I particularly like it in a game like Counter-Strike or most of the esports games where you don't have perfect information. Because of course, like in chess, we have perfect information. There's a metagame. There's certain expected ways to handle certain situations that that define the error and so on. But in Counter-Strike, because you don't have full information, there's even more guesswork involved. And so I think it creates, like, the meta switches much more because of that, much more quickly. And so it's really fun. Like, if we would one day have, let's say, a lot of new maps in the pool, you could have maps that actually do favor faster playstyles and maps which favor slower playstyles. And it's, I think in the meta right now, the slower playstyle is definitely kind of a thing, because a lot of the maps like an Inferno or a Cobblestone, or even to a degree an Overpass, like these maps are best played slow. You get the most out of them by playing them slow. But Mirage is a map where you can play it fast and slow, and it can be just as effective if you know what you're doing. It's just harder to play fast.
Yeah, it's
Llama Wama.
That's a good name.
You get to find a lot of maps kind of like that, but certainly, a lot of, it's hard to get from spawn to the bomb site on Overpass, so it definitely means, because CT's going to be pushed up a lot, it's going to take time to work through the map, so yeah, and Cobblestone, it's like hard for CTs to go past a certain point, so CTs end up walking around, but
the smokes are very good.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons the smokes are very strong.
I think Faze was expecting to take out a lurker only and not get traded. So that situation sucks for the team. The bomb's already made it to the B bomb site. By the way, there was a ooh, hello. Nico's heard him. A drone, that is. Simply walking out into the angle and shooting him in the face. And that's dread, man. It's not easy to do. But Faze will most certainly make it look easy.
To me, that's like a Slenderman moment there, or something like that. It's like you're running around, you're desperately trying not to attract the attention of Nico, but like you make a sound, like the branch, like you step on the branch and it like cracks, and then he turns and he sees you, and you know it's over. Like. I like Mirage. I'm a Mirage fan.
it's very good.
It's a fun map. It's interesting at the high level how many teams struggle with mid control. Actually, like Na'Vi are the biggest example for me.
Does he push? Campbell push? Oh no! Shows a bit of leg. Nico will finish him off. Just continue the charge. Look how he sees his teammate come out of jungle.
Like a Reinhardt moment, just charging through him.
Man. Sit back and watch.
Got there in the end.
See, like he's using the MP9 like it's an AK. It's like that's how you're supposed to do it. Nico's 20 and 5, Guardian's 19 and 4, 18 and 6 for Rain. I feel like having one player with like the 20 and something scoreline is actually already an insane half. But to have 3 players with that scoreline, how are there even that many frags? How does that make sense? Actually, that means that they're just getting so many kills. It's insane. Like you can see that the kills for Gambit are so high. It's crazy. The deaths, sorry, the deaths. This might be one of the fastest games we've ever had if FaZe win this pistol.
They could be trying to set a record.
Let us see, let us bear witness. Nico's got into his sandwich position. People might jump on his head. Will we be checked for? But it won't matter because Nico, hope it will take him out in the end. Has he done enough damage, however?
Oh, damn, bro.
Jeez Louise.
I don't play Counter-Strike, guys. Can I just like go over there? And you can just stay here, do your thing.
Phase up.
Like when you
Funny, I can't play CS. I can't breathe properly, and I can barely talk. So what can I do?
See, you're not even living. You're not even alive. You're not even James Bardolph right now. Well, I guess you're always James Bardolph. We need an antidote for you. We need something. How do we fix you?
Ginseng.
This spray thing is ginseng in it.
Spray it in his
It
mouth.
has Tibetan.
Spray in my mouth, please, sir.
Tibetan ginseng and cactus flower. Do you like cactus flowers, James?
I think this antihistamine has made me drowsy.
Yeah.
Even the non-drowsy, like I just get bodied, man.
So how do we?
Because even when it says non-drowsy, there's like 1% of people where it'll just wreck them, and
yeah.
I am that 1% of people. Just gets annihilated by using. Because I don't like taking tablets and pills for things. I just like walking it off. So on the occasion where I do take a tablet, it's like my body's like, whoa!
So we need to basically pump you through this stimulants now to counteract the drowsiness.
That reminds me, there was one I forgot to purchase.
James, we need smelling salts back in the studio. I'm going to buy some smelling salts for you.
Smelling salts. That was quite the adventure, wasn't it? Dan and his smelling salts.
We used to do these North American broadcasts until like 6 AM, so I was like, to prevent just falling asleep during the cast, I was like, okay. I bought some smelling salts. But I couldn't do it. It was just, I tried it. It's like, it is like getting punched in the face.
Really?
You ever experienced it?
Getting punched in the face?
It feels like someone's punching you in the face. It's so insane.
I don't like that.
It's effective though. People used to do them in powerlifting. They'll do smelling salts before a big lift.
Why?
To increase focus, concentration, and just. It makes you angry. I don't know.
Makes you angry? So it's just something that smells really bad? I don't understand.
Well,
try it.
It's yeah.
Okay.
It goes into your nostrils, and it is like getting punched in the face.
Okay.
If you try smelling salts, tweet Launders what your experiences were like.
Is it like eating too much wasabi?
No.
Okay.
It's not comparable to anything.
You said it's like getting punched in the face.
That's the only thing it's comparable to.
That's what you compared it to.
It's like the weakest.
Have you been punched in the face?
Yeah.
Just wondering. Well, never mind. That's a quick one. Indeed, it is a quick one. That was like 30 minutes, maybe slightly less. That was just absolute domination. If you could define FaZe at their best, I think that is just an example right there. That is just watch this match. What is FaZe? This is FaZe.
I mean, this is versus Gambit. They're very good.
This has to be the fastest game. It has to be. It's like 20 minutes. This is like 20 minutes long, guys.
It was a brief one. I mean, what can we even say about that? Like,
I think
Gambit got run over.
I feel like our intro to the show was shorter than the game. Longer.
Well, there it is. FaZe absolutely annihilated Gambit. They just imposed their will on them, and Gambit just they tried to tap out, but there was no referee.
You have to
there was
finish.
no referee. It's got their limbs broken, man. They got Ronda Rousey.
Oh boy.
So that is that. We are going to Nuke. Maybe they will be able to defend themselves on Nuke. Only time will tell. We'll see you after the break for Nuke. I don't know what else can we do, man. Oh dear.